All right, guys, we're going to get started here in a sec. Hold on. You guys see my screen all right? Let me get the chat up. Boom. Boom, boom. Nice, nice, nice. All right, we're just going to wait on a couple more people, then we'll get started. Pretty slow ass day for the most part. Ooh. You guys fire there. Right. How's everyone doing? Yeah, I got it, Ann. I'm working on it. And it's weird because I actually show your email on there as approved on there. So I don't know why that would be. But we'll handle it after when market closes. How's everyone doing? Having a good week? Yeah, I've had a freaking awesome trading week and a fucking crazy business week, as you all have known with the DVD shit. Yeah, I'm gonna hire. I need to hire people. There's no two ways about it. It's just too much for me to do on my own. Yeah, but it's a good week. It's a good week. You know, I just didn't realize I was gonna get traction the way I did, like with what's going on. I thought it would be maybe like 50 people or something, 100 people that I would be, have to work with in terms of customer service and stuff. But it's not. It's freaking endless barrage of emails, and it's crazy. So then apparently at one point last night, someone tipped me off to the fact that anyone was able to sign up and see the first 2 chapters or whatever. So we had to reset, the member list had to go one by one and like match everyone. It was not cool. So yeah, I'm definitely going to be hiring now. There's no way to do it by myself and trade full time and do what I need to do. So it's fine. At least my trading was good this week for the most part. I'm pretty happy about it. And I have started short selling again, and I'm basically 4 for 4 on that path, which is consistent with how it was when I was shorting before, which I don't know, for some reason it's good. So my only concern is to be really safe. The last thing I want to do is just take random shorts. And so, that brings me to NBEV, which I've been shorting today, and it's just not that extended. Yeah, they had the offering, the warrants at 350 or whatever it is. But the whole sector is kind of bouncing today. And the only thing that I'm looking at is because, if you're thinking about risk reward, yeah, if you're risking 415, whatever it is, maybe get it back down to 350 or low threes. That's amazing. But I don't know if the juice is really worth the squeeze on this one. It's not really overextended. It's up 25%. But they also reported earnings last night, and that technically makes this an earnings winner. It's done big volume today, and this thing has been trading pretty good volume for a while. But, I mean, you've got NBEV bouncing. Kron was trying to bounce today. All the usual suspects, Tilray. And so who knows? Could be a one and done. I am somewhat interested in this longer term downtrend since back in October. And you can see, so that's what kind of, when I was talking to some of you about my thesis earlier about why I was even shorting it all and what my original plans were. Original plans were just to kind of get short into the 390s, very small size, add towards 4, and then probably risk something like 410. And that was kind of my original idea. But even then, I decided, you know what, I don't even have to mess with it for now. I'll just leave it alone. It's not an amazing setup. And it would really just be a boredom trade. Like, I don't know. It's really just a boredom trade. And that's what it comes down to. And so there are a lot of eyes on this. Sure, there are a lot of people short into the 390s, 4s, 410s. You know, I think this downtrend line should hold for the most part. And let's see here. But you never know. You know, I mean, they could gap it up and take it to 450 or something tomorrow. I just don't want to deal with it. So not really going to touch NBEV for now, and most likely not going to touch it long or short at this point. Yeah, just some boredom trading for the most part. NAKD, I took a very small poke on this morning. Yeah, it was also a boredom trade. You can kind of see how it's set up earlier on. And some decent volume did come in. So there's market up, and you can see there's some decent volume, spiked to $1.58, based at $1.30, tried to perk back to $1.50. And I just decided, you know what, I'll got 10 cents worth. I ended up taking, I think, 1,000 shares. How many shares did I get? Did I take 1,000 shares? Yeah, I only had 1,000 shares, so it wasn't anything. And when it broke down, that was it. Don't care. Boredom trade, nothing real there. Just a poke, like I said. What else? I mean, there have been a lot of things kind of gapping and popping and dropping, and it's been, I don't know. It's been weird. There's been volatility, which is good. We've had a couple spikers, and I'll talk about ANY here in a second. And there's RSLS, which went from 2 to 6. I mean, there have been some really good moves, but they've all ultimately been good shorts as well. Sorry, one sec, guys. All right. Let's see. Yeah, really ugly today. Not too much to look at. We had those couple pennies that were looking up this morning. XSPA. XSPA, super ugly. Super ugly. AMRH, another one, ugly. They have some toxic dilution going on as well. A lot of that lately. I mean, there's always a lot of that down there, but. So today, I mean, NBEV doing great volume, and it's one of those cases with the weed stocks. There's not too much else going on. Everyone's gravitated towards NBEV, and it can do funny things, even with the warrants in place. Whatever, it's doing big volume. And for now, it's an earnings winner. I still think it's a dud, but you never know. So I'm just going to be safe. There's no need to trade it. There's no massive reward there for you. So, yeah. Which one's that?
NPX, recent reverse split.
Check it out. I think they have some dilution going on. What's that? What their dilution?
Yeah.
Did they halt?
So
That's interesting. NPX, recent reverse split. I don't know what their share count is. I might have some time since they're halted. Okay, 1 second, guys. Sorry. Low volume, but one sec. Sorry. Sorry, guys. All right. So IMPX, Haven't had time to look it up. Don't really want to chase this, but it's been a pretty hot pattern lately. Well, all the time. Let me see. Hold on. Let's see what it got here. So there's no PR that I can see. Just another reverse split runner. So I think they did an offering there right away. So it's something I got to check out. I'm not going to just buy this. There's no reason to do that. Let's see. Let's do it together. In a totally non-sexual way. All right. Could just be a chat pump, probably is at this point. And boom. Okay. INPX. Disclosures. 10Q. That's what we need. Actually, when was the reverse split? The reverse split was recently. First split was on 11/2, so 2 weeks ago, and it was a 1 for 40. So that should be in the 10Q then, because that was after that. 10Q for INPX. Current assets have been halved. December 31st. Liabilities. Okay. So they do have a deficit. Did they do an offering? Either way, I mean, this chart's pretty ugly. I suppose if this were to get pumped again and this holds 390, it could have a shot of maybe pressing highs, but working capital of 1.1 million as of September 30th. Ooh, net loss of 17.3 million. So that's pretty bad. All right. On January 18th, they entered into a securities purchase agreement. They sold 14,996 in warrants to purchase up to 1490, 212 common stock, blah, blah, blah. February, they completed public offering 83,000 Class A units at a price of $94 per unit and 10,184 Class B, 1,000. Okay. January 5th. All right. Control F. Let's check out warrants. And this is just for the sake, I'm not planning on trading this. This is just for the sake of doing it. Okay. Sorry, I'm just looking to see if I can't find capital raise, January 15th. April 24th, public offering. Series 4 convertible preferred stock. Conversion price of $18.40 a share. One warrant. Warrants are immediately exercisable at an exercise price of $26.80, subject to adjustment. Number of shares issued upon such warrants to 1 million shares. Common stock. Okay. A lot of stuff here. So for the last quarter, the Series 4 were converted into 300,000 shares. 5-year warrant. Come on, mouse. Sorry, guys. Hold on. Okay, so now we're going to get into the preferred shares that they were doing during these offerings, and this is kind of what I'm trying to find, it looks like. Okay, what the hell is going on with this mouse? Hold on. Come on. All right, work now. There we go. Series 3 preferred. Authorized 10,184 shares of Series 3. Preferred convertible into the number of shares of common stock determined by dividing the aggregate stated value of the Series 3 to be converted by 94. Public offering 1,000 per unit, blah, blah, blah. Okay. During the 3 months ending March, 9,773 were converted into 100,000. June, 411. So nothing crazy, but authorized share increase and reverse stock split. October, they did the one for 40. Increase in authorized shares. Pretty convoluted here. On October 8th, company issued 37,000 shares. What the hell is going on here? Sorry, 1 second. October 8th. Where's my reverse split? Sorry, guys. My brain's like fried right now. It is fried. Just a couple of days of hell. Okay. Split was this day. 8/11. All right. Where the hell did that go? So this one's a little bit more complicated. It's not really too straightforward in terms of these offerings and what they have in place, what's convertible. I mean, they do have a bunch of convertible debt, but I'll have to really dig in to really find out what's going on here. 20. Yeah, this is something I'll have to dig into further, and I really don't want to do it right now. But what it comes down to is like ANY did this yesterday. RSLS did it last week. And the truth is, most of the time, most of the real supernovas are they do that because the float is low, okay? That's why float's so important to me. That's why I'm always looking for low floats, and reverse splits are important to me. A lot of times the biggest runner was a recent reverse split. And unless you have a chart or, means of checking when they do the reverse splits or if they do filings or whatever like that, which you can find in filings. In my case, I use like Street Smart Edge, and it brings it up. It shows me when there's a reverse stock split. If you have equity feed and you have a top percent gainer that's up like 8,000%, that's usually a reverse stock split. So it's good. It's good to kind of keep tabs on reverse stock splits, because a lot of times what the pattern is, let me pull this. Let me pull Schwab up actually, because it'll show, it's a better illustration. Hold on. So, INPX looks like a chat pump. And the truth is, a lot of the biggest runners start as chat pumps. They really do. I mean, they're not. It's a fact. Like, these guys, they're such low floats when they do reverse splits. The floats are so low. A very small group of people can create a move. And I'm kind of rambling, but what I was trying to say is like a lot of the supernovas, the 100, 200% runners are recent reverse splits, and you may just not know it at the time. It's a theme that goes way back. Let me get you guys to the freaking chart. Hold on. Sorry. Boom, boom. So there's ANY, and you can see like on Schwab, it'll bring it up 1 for 8 reverse split. So this was a really low float, and actually Tango Baker was the one who kind of mentioned it in chat actually the day before. And we've had ongoing dialogue about this exact kind of thing that happens. Now I'm not saying just trade anything that's reverse stock split. That's not the case. But at times with the correct circumstances, they do the reverse split because they have to stay listed with NASDAQ. That's how they get their price over $1. But they also have to meet the 2.5 million shareholder equity. And a lot of times the stock price is under $1 and they have less than the 2.5 million shareholder equity. So they have to do a pump and they have to do an offering for the most part. They need cash. So they need cash and they need their stock price over $1. And it's a really simple formula for them. Reverse split, float count, the float gets nice and low, price is over $1. Then it fades for a couple days. A lot of times they get shorted out the gate, these stock splits. And then they'll drop a PR like 4 to 6 days later. That's kind of like the range I've seen for the most part, 4 to 8 days. And sometimes they wait even longer. I mean, you never know. Sometimes they do a reverse split and they have financing already in place. So those ones will just drop. But like the Dries deal, they had Kalani going at it and they just kept reverse splitting and dumping on it like over and over and over again. So you have to be aware of that. And that's why I was concerned with INPX. I'll dig into it more later they have a bunch of different series stocks that they're selling, and you have to kind of dig back to find out exactly how many underlying shares are there at times. But either way, this is a pattern that, and it's not so much like it's a pattern, but it's not an exact thing. It's kind of just a set of circumstances here that I'm talking about. Yeah, it's one of those things. So ANY, which I've traded so many times, not so many times, but I've traded it multiple times in the last couple of years. They did a split last year too. But I've traded this a couple times, and I think I was trading it when it was down in like the pennies, basically. So they did the reverse split, and they had a PR come out yesterday. And the PR was pretty fluffy, and they were doing a divestiture from one of their companies. And there was just one fluffy line to me that made sense, that caught my eye, which was something about relieving their balance sheet of like 40 million in liabilities or something like that. So nothing crazy to where, I would want to go nuts. Only thing is like, I had my eyes on it. There wasn't too much going on yesterday. Did see a couple buys. It gapped up a tiny bit on tiny volume, but it was also a tiny float. So small volume can do a lot of things. Now, my buys were literally like right here. I put in an order. It's at $1.80. Thesis being I'll grab a couple thousand shares, and basically I was willing to get it down to $1.70 or something like that. Like, I don't know. It was kind of funky because it just worked so well right off the bat. And what felt like I was almost personally pumping it wasn't true, because I had a 3,000 share order at $1.80 something or $1.70 something that never got filled. I got like 1,000 shares. And then it just went nuts. So like other people, someone obviously was looking at it. Other people were watching that. And yeah, and it's just one of those things, reverse stock split and bottomed out at $1.50, and then was just kind of holding above $1.50 pretty decently. Tried to pop a couple days ago. So when I saw the PR, that's generally the pattern, stock split, drop, PR. So, I mean, lucky, yeah, definitely got a little bit lucky. But in terms of how I actually played it, so I got a couple thousand shares sub 2 in the 190s. And then I actually averaged up. Most of my shares were taken in the 220s. And that's where most of my position was built. So I think my average ended up being still low 2s. 1 second. Sorry, this chart sucks. I'm going to bring this down. Yeah, so here's you've got the intraday chart was basically volume came in, so I grabbed some shares. Sorry, hold on. Yeah, so you could see, volume came in, and it's not something that you can really quantify other than that it did come in. And watch. Had some buys here, and then you could see these two candles. Let's see here. This candle here, this candle here, and then we've got these two candles here. So this one did 216,000 in volume and 200,000 in volume on this candle in these 2 minutes. And so, yeah, it's just one of those things where I it's a pattern that I'm familiar with, and it kind of lined up perfectly. So I got some shares at the bottom, and volume came in, and then it got halted and volume sustained and pushed it a little bit further. So I took off in a strength here into the 375s and into the 4s, and then this thing faded. It faded. I actually tried dip buying, I believe. Where did I dip buy? I tried taking some shares here. I got some shares, small size, because I made about 12. I made about 17K on this when all was said and done. But I dip bought here. And I actually added to this position at like 350. So I ended up with like 3,000 shares at a 325 average or something like that. And had to cut it. So I'm sorry, hold on. That's incorrect. Wrong part of the chart. Sorry, guys. So I grabbed some when it started grinding back up right here. I grabbed some in the 315 range, I think. Some of you might know, I don't remember. And then I actually averaged up when it looked like it was going to hold trend here. I grabbed some shares at 360, not too crazy, 1,000 shares. And then it just kind of cracked and broke down. And yeah, I mean, that part of the trade sucked. I did give back like 2,500 from my gains, so it would have been a little bit bigger, but I won't complain about it. It was pretty awesome. So when you guys who were asking me yesterday about why I didn't really get into why I liked ANY, or when I was alerting the trade in the first place, it was really a liquid. And it's not something where you can just like buy any reverse split that's, downtrending and has a PR. But early on, this was just a stab in the dark, to be honest. Like, for the most part, reverse split, low float, had a PR. And I figured I might start positioning myself. So initially, what was going to be kind of a stab at it, I saw this volume here, and that to me looked like the start of actually something. You can see. I mean, if nothing else was there, this was the start, obviously. And I was in from the start. I bought here, and I did add here, like in the 215s, 220s. And then it just ripped, halt, and then didn't even come down after the halt. Actually kept ripping. And did really, really big volume yesterday. And then I should have just left it alone. I actually got I was out all of those shares into this move here. So, sorry, I'm kind of rambling today, guys. My brain is freaking fried. It is fried. So big trade, a little bit of luck there. But I'm looking for these situations anyways. I mean, these are the situations I'm looking for. And at times, this is probably one of the most illiquid entries I've ever had. But like I said, I just wanted to take a little stab. And once I actually saw volume come in and some buyers, actually the start of the squeeze is what it was, I helped it. I added some shares and brought my average up to the 220s, 215 area. And it worked really well. What else can I say? And then I just took profits into strength. I actually held all my shares through this halt, and then just started taking off into strength. I took off into high a day. I took off when it started to crack down, and I took the rest off my last 1,000 shares like at 3 or high 2s. So pretty sweet. LMFA, I shorted yesterday. They had some financing going on. They were gapping up. I have some notes on LMFA, actually. Yeah, they've got 2.5 million warrants at a 240 exercise price. And just very ugly. So here's another one. This is LMFA is a reverse stock split. Reverse stock split. I don't know if they did a PR here and tried to pop. But regardless, if you look at the range on this day, it had 350 to 730 range. So, I mean, these things get really volatile after the splits, especially if they do this. They'll do a PR somewhere in this point to try to get their stock price up, or just keep it up so that they can get their offering in. It's really important. So that's kind of the overall theme. It's kind of this funny gray area where a stock can either spike 100, 200% and drop same day, obviously, like ANY did. Or sometimes these things get traction and can go for days. It hasn't been ripe for that lately. It hasn't really been happening. And, you know, the circumstances haven't been right. The PRs maybe haven't been good enough or whatever else it is. So. That's ANY. It's my best gain in a while. And it's just knowing what can run and what can't. And the only thing that can run in a major way is our low floats. I mean, it's a fact, you know, all the low floats. That's what you want in terms of long and short, but particularly like a small account and you're trying to get those exponential gains. Like it's possible to take 100 shares or a couple hundred shares and double it at times, you know, and I'm not saying that's what you need to go for, but those are the plays that can help grow an account because the most potential is there. I mean, I generally don't get in. Like I rarely, I mean, that's probably my best entry ever in any stock ever. Like, and I don't know. I think this perk gets the attention of chat rooms is what happens. And it's a low float, you know what I mean? It's a recent reverse split. People understand that concept. And at a minimum, these things can pop pretty decently, even on low volume. So I'm not trying, I want to be in this situation where volume actually comes in, which actually happened, which was cool. Generally, you know, after this, it could have died. It definitely could have died. This buying volume could have sold, and then it's just a chat pump for sure, even with the reverse stock split. But I think the fact that there was a PR is beneficial because this isn't even on people's radars for the most part. And then randomly it pops, and then you get a 5-minute halt, and then you get people saying, okay, oh, there's news. It's a recent reverse split. The share count's really low, all that stuff. And then you have, you know, early shorts who get squeezed and you get into this whole low float game where the volume comes in, it's going to go one way or another. Perfect double top at $4. And I was just a little too long biased for some reason. I don't know why on earth I added shares on this drop here after the double top. I mean, I do. There was trend line. There was still above VWAP and stuff, but I'm still disappointed about that. Let's get into the close. You guys have any questions about that? It's I know it's kind of a funny area because there's no way you can buy this. Like, and there's usually I'm not. But this, like, I will buy at times, and this is where I added more of my size. So once volume does start to come in. So far, INPX is a dud. Actually, I remember the split day. Yeah, it did. It tried to spike that day. So it's something I do I do recognize, anytime there's a reverse split and then a PR, I take notice, and then I want to see what's going on there. Let's check out NBEV. What's NBEV doing? Well, so far it would have been comfortable if I stuck with my original plan on that one. But like I said, I like to be safe. I like to be as safe as possible. What else is going on? Smart and Finals up on earnings, but I don't play that. That's about it. Really, really slow. Really, really slow. So for those of you coming to the conference, we'll be starting Sunday. I'm going to be getting itineraries to everyone this afternoon. And yeah, so we'll be starting Sunday. On Saturday, if any of you guys want to get together, I'm thinking about golfing Saturday. Not 100% sure. I got a lot of work to do. But if you guys want to get together, I'm down. Let's do it. We'll do like an early dinner somewhere or something, or go get a drink and just meet in person. It'll be really cool. Some of you I have met in person before, but most of you I haven't. So, let's see. If you're coming to the conference, DM me. I'm starting to finally answer everyone's DMs. Sorry. But yeah, if you're coming in town, DM me so that I know you're coming in, and we'll exchange phone numbers and stuff so that you guys can get a hold of me when you get in town. But I will be staying at the resort too, so you'll probably see me there. And then we may do something Saturday night too. I'm not sure. And then if anyone wants to stay, I know it's live trading Monday, but if anyone wants to stay an extra day or whatever, extra day or two, you're welcome to come trade in my office with me. Shoot the shit. That's about it. I don't see anything going into close. There's NBEV. I mean, my only concern being long would be if all the pot stocks gapped up there, and then you definitely see a gap up here too. And they're all finishing decently strong. Cron's up by its highs for now. Well, close enough. Not too close to its highs, but close enough. Yep, nothing overnight for me, that's for sure. David asked when I'm thinking about coming down to LA. That'll probably be honestly, January, February. I'm going to do a small boot camp somewhere. It'll probably be LA or San Diego or both. Any other questions, guys? Super slow. Nothing to really do today. And if there's no more questions, we'll just wrap it up. Like I said, next week, starting Tuesday. Well, basically Wednesday. But starting next Wednesday, the DVD will be behind me. The conference will be behind me. I've got a couple different candidates for personal assistants / secretary and customer service. So that will be very helpful. And I can spend my days just trading and talking to you guys. Bunch of degenerates. The company does a reverse split. Is it to pump the stock up? And if the stock is trading at $4 the next day, will it be trading at 2? Will be trading at 2. If the stock is up, if the stock is trading at $4 the next day, we'll be trading at 2. No, the opposite. And it depends what the stock split is. A reverse split. So yeah, a reverse split, it's the opposite. A split would be, if you had 100 shares of a $4 stock and they split it into 200 shares of a 250 stock, and then it would be 250, but 200 shares. So it's the opposite. If there are 250 shares at $2, I'm sorry, that's incorrect. If it's a stock split, then they take every one share, turn it into more shares. If it's a reverse split, they take the larger amount of shares and they're reducing it by whatever multiple they decide. So a 10-to-1 reverse split means every 10 shares then become 1 share. That also means the stock price will be 10 times higher. And that's the whole purpose of the stock split. The reason they do a reverse stock split is simply to stay listed. They have to, for NASDAQ's minimum requirements to be listed, they have to have their stock price over $1. So in order to save the company from being delisted, they have to get the stock price over $1. And the fastest way to do that is a reverse split. And for some of these companies, it's the only way. So that's what's funny, is because the stocks that can run the best are generally the worst stocks. You know what I mean? I was talking to Huddy about this earlier, but they do a reverse split because they have to stay listed. They are literally in danger of not being listed anymore on NASDAQ. That's not good. And in order to stay listed, they have to meet those requirements, the 2.5 million shareholder equity and the dollar stock price. I think they have to have it over $1 for 7 consecutive days. And it's a very tried and true method that they use to do that. And it's the reverse split. 10 days. Thank you, Tango. They need 10 days. So I mean, it's really a very simple game that they play. And the reason they have to do it is because they suck and they're in danger of being delisted. So it's pretty crazy. It's one of those things that's such a paradox. And it's just funny. It's kind of weird that the stocks that I'm able to profit off the most are some of the worst stocks in the stock market. And it also is one of the reasons why it makes it why short selling is so great in terms of penny stocks. And the only thing you have to do is be very careful not to get in the way of the really massive rippers. And if you are short selling a low float reverse split, especially if it's got a PR, you got to be really, really careful. And you have to pick your spots wisely and be really patient. It's a lot of people like to just jump and smash it because people like just shorting anything for the most part. A lot of people just short whatever it is. And those early shorts usually get crushed a lot of the time. Sometimes the early shorts, they do work out. But for me, I'm not going to short sell something just because it's up a little bit. And so, I mean, NBEV is up quite a bit. There's a good range. But I'm not going to just hold an overnight position on this just because. If this were to really pop to $5.50, $6, then I would feel much better about the reward part of that trade. So. Any more questions? We're going to wrap it on up. Welcome, dude. It'll be good. I just need the right team behind me. I didn't, it's just like I wasn't prepared for the volume of people, really. Have a good one, Ann. I'll get you taken care of. If any of you don't have access to the DVD, DM me too, and I'll make sure it gets taken care of. Yeah, Brandon, reverse split means when the company, reverse split is technically all they're doing is taking a certain amount of shares and condensing them into a less amount of shares of their choice, whatever they decide. And it's important because a once big float now, and it could be trading in the pennies, is now a $2 stock or $3 stock with a sub-million share float. So, if volume comes, those things can rip. So it's one of those things that's important to know. But I don't buy reverse splits. I don't just buy them. I don't buy reverse splits on day one, period. I don't buy reverse splits that are just spiking without a PR, especially. I have a hard time. I need that PR. That's the pattern I'm looking for because I know they're trying to pump. And I know that's if I can be pretty early on that move, there can be some really solid reward with minimal downside as long as I'm in decently early. But it has to do with the PR. Put it this way: if ANY did not drop a PR yesterday pre-market, I wouldn't have even had eyes on it really today. Yesterday, like the PR is very important. That's the pattern that I'm looking for. Is the reverse stock split? Maybe some fade for a couple of days or a week, and then the PR. And it's also helpful to know whether or not they are actively diluting and to not get caught up if they are doing that. Then I'll probably just leave it alone. Do any wheat stocks make more than street drug dealers? It's a good question. I'm sure they do. Yeah, the 2.5 million in equity is really important. It's really important because that's, it's one of those, it's something that they have to do to stay listed. So if they don't meet that, they have to raise the cash. So, doing a reverse stock split does not affect their shareholder equity in and of itself. Yeah, it's anticipating a pump. That's exactly what it is. That's in simple terms, that's exactly what it is. You're anticipating the pump, and like a traditional pump and dump, you want to be in early on that. You don't want to be buying it once it's already spiked 100%. For the most part, and I shouldn't have been dip buying it yesterday. My initial dip buy was fine. 275 reclaim 3, that's fine. And actually, I had some really decent upside. It got back up to high a day. But instead of just taking that extra, I think $800 to $1,000 that I would have made from my smaller size here, I wanted to add and try to get get another rip through this high a day. And I just got a little bit greedy. But like I said, it was house money. So no big deal. I don't even think I was on the A and Y chart right now, but it's fine. All right, guys, that's it. We'll wrap it up. Like I said, if you're coming to the conference, please DM me so that I can get you my number so that we can connect while you're in Phoenix. And then I'll be in chat tomorrow morning. And then we got the conference this weekend. That goes into Monday, so I won't be doing a webinar Monday. Maybe I'll try to stream for you guys or something. I'll figure something out so you guys can be live trade with me all day on Monday because that's what I'll be doing. And then yeah, and then starting next week, it's smooth sailing. I'll probably take Tuesday, Wednesday to freaking decompress a little bit finally. And then I really want this thing to work for you guys. I want it to be very organized and consistent, which it hasn't been up to this point. But I'm going to work on that and make sure that you're taken care of properly. And I thank all of you for sticking with it. It'll pay off. We'll get a lot of good work done here in the future. And everyone who has stayed with me, which is most of you, I'm starting all of your times January 1st. So we're going to do the whole year of 2019. So basically it's not free, you paid me, but I've added, about 3 or 4 months to the time. So we'll start officially January, but starting next week, we'll really get it cranking going into the end of the year, especially we got holidays coming up and stuff. So we'll rock it like that, guys. We'll catch you in chat tomorrow.